how you can live abundantly. Fear is nothing. You hear me? You can do anything you put your mind to. I'm your girl, Talk to Tongie. We're gonna do life together. Hey, good evening, and thank you so very much for joining me. You remember I told you that we're going to bring you some excitement, some insight, motivation, inspiration right here in our country of St. Lucia. That's exactly what we're doing. I'm your friend, Dr. Tongie, but my friends call me Tongie. This is Talk to Tongie. I grew up, for those who do not know my story, I grew up in a little small town of Mississippi, and I would always, as a child, want to plant something. I wanted to be around dirt. I just wanted to be by myself. And I'm sure my mama thought I was crazy, but it was something about being one. I called him with God. Even at 6 years old, I knew what I wanted to do. But when you're not dreaming, all right, I was guilty of that. When you do not have anyone that you can say, hey, let me touch you, or let me ask you questions, or how do you do that? You find yourself as a child wanting these things, and then no one comes to kind of nurture it, and no one comes to water it, and then it just dies. And do I sound like I'm talking like a farmer? That's exactly where I am too. I am in a place where I'm losing all sense of reality. And I say reality because this place is so beautiful, and we're going to get to that, and we're going to get to the guest. But I feel like I'm at home. And it's hard for me to do that. I had to feel like I'm at home when I'm thousands of miles away from my own home. But what I'm learning is that if you really want to do something, and even if it hasn't been done in your family or no one that you can look at or touch that's doing it, when it's in your soul, and this is what the show's about, it's a soulish place. You know, your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotions, right? When it's in your soul to do something, no matter how long it takes, our creator, I call him Daddy, will do exactly what he does, and he does it so well. You just have to believe. And then with that believing, you know, once you ask, then you believe, then you receive it. And no matter how long it takes, you just know that it's going to come into fruition. Which leads me to an amazing woman that I had the privilege of being introduced last year, I think, about a year and a half now. And it was something about this little lady that reminded me of my aunt, Barbara, from Alabama. Go figure, right? When I met her, she greeted me with a smile, but I saw her spirit before I actually encountered her. I know, sounds like I'm talking semantics. I really am not. For those who know, you know. When you meet someone that takes your breath away, and that makes you believe again as a child, because we all have to be like children with this thing called faith. You can't get anything trying to do it on your own without faith. So this woman was introduced to me, and I'll tell you a little bit about how that happened, but I want to get to this. She's an incredible soul. She's a woman I know she's after his own heart. She's a woman who has a story that is so revolutionary that you're like, what? She's a woman that you can model yourself after. And she's doing it every day. She gets up and she makes things happen. I'm talking about none other than Ms.Cecelia Trim. Heeyyy. I get excited when I say her name. But I want to juxtapose into this amazing soul, this amazing spirit that I have an opportunity to call friend, and I don't use that word lightly. I do not. I asked her, will you be my friend? What? You better tell folk what you want and then go after it, because they'll give you exactly what you asked for. Ms.Cecelia Trim of this amazing place called Epiphany Farms. We're going to get into her story. I asked the proverbial question, how did you get here? So you think on that. And we'll be right back after this break. We're going to get into someone that's going to blow your mind. Please stay tuned. It's your girl, Dr. Tongie, and whenever I get ready for a show, I use a Toy Day food. A Toy Day food is a proud sponsor of the Dr. Tongie Show and Talk to Tongie.
You want to avoid traffic? Avoid the stress of finding parking. The answer is the water taxi from Saluna Water Sports by Bay Gardens Beach Resorts to Pigeon Island Jazz Festival for only $50 EC or $20 US round trip per person. Contact us at 721-5098 to book your tickets. Jazz Festival in style.
Your girl, Dr. Tongie, you know, from the Talk to Tongie Show. Are you ready to maximize your business exposure? Of course you are. Why not consider placing an ad right here with me on the Talk to Tongie Show on DBS? This is Dr. Tongie. I'm from a little town called Columbus, Mississippi, and I've come all the way here to show you exactly how you can live abundantly. Fear is nothing. You hear me? You can do anything you put your mind to. I'm your girl, Dr. Tongie. We're going to do life together. All right, we're back. I'm your friend, Tongie. Dr. Tongie, but my friends call me Tongie, right? And I'm holding in my hand fruit. It took something to do this. And this woman has a story like none other. And I'm talking to Ms.Cecelia Trim. We're not going to leave out a husband, Mr. Dennis Marquis. He's the man behind the plan that makes her look good. Look at that smile. I am so excited to be here. I'm trying to be calm and cool, lady. I promise you I am. But if you could see inside, I'm like a little kid just doing cartwheels and I don't even know how. Who are you? How did you get here? I know that's a loaded question, but would you give me a soliloquy, if you will? How did you get here? This is a real farm. This is a farm that's growing real fruit. Tell us, please.
Well, first of all, I'm the child of a king.
Oh, right there.
Okay. And I was born in St. Lucia. My dad, Mr. Trim, Rene Trim, most people know him as Bruh. He owned the stables at Casabah. But sadly, he's gone on and he's left me a legacy.
Wow.
To make his name continue to be a part of St. Lucian history. So, before I got involved in my dad's business, I had this farm, which was never really a farm. It was a plot of dirt covered with some serious, hard to work with grass.
Ouch.
So my husband and I, we were beginning to talk about making a transition to St. Lucia
Okay.
because he was born here as well,
Okay.
and his name is Dennis Marquis.
Of course.
And
Hi, Mr. Dennis.
and you know, we had this, so we decided to do something with it.
Wow.
And in between, you know, being involved with taking care of my dad, I started working on this place and turned it into something that I always dreamed of. It's still a work in progress,
For sure.
but I've always loved playing in the dirt, like you.
Okay. All right. Now, let's back up just a
Okay.
bit because she's not giving you the whole story. She's giving you the part where the fruit is already bearing. Lady. This is Talk to Tongie.
Yes.
And here, it's a soulish show. And when I
Yes.
say soulish, I ask questions, or I'm interested in the mind, the will, and the emotion. It takes a mind and a will to do something like this. You said as a child you love playing in dirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always love watching things grow, trying to figure out how that happens.
Yeah.
Even animals too. Always, my mom will give you tons of stories about me being involved with animals as well.
And your mom is still alive.
Yes, she is. And yeah.
Thank you.
And then I always had a garden. I lived in the States for almost my entire life because I went there very young.
I was about to say, now, you were born here.
Yes.
And you went to the States.
Yes.
And you came back.
Yes.
Okay. That's voluminous right there.
Yes.
Why? How did you get from the beautiful country of St. Lucia, all right, to the States?
Well, my parents thought that I would probably get a better opportunity if I were to move over there. So I moved with my aunt, and I went to school there. I went to high school. I went to college.
What state is this? Where?
In New York. Yeah, I lived in Queens for a good bit of time, and then you know, after I graduated from college, I met this gentleman who happened to be, which is kind of freaky to me,
Okay.
happened to be the brother of my best friend from the age of 5.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
Talk
and
about steps being ordered. I mean,
Yes,
come on, lady.
Yes,
You
100%.
can't make that up.
100%. And he was so kind to me and very loving and caring. And we got married. I was still very young. I was about 19 when I
I
got
was
married.
19 when I married.
Yes.
I'm done. This is my new BFF.
And we've been married going on 40 years. Actually,
Wow.
next Valentine's Day.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, we've been married 39 years.
39
Valentine's
years.
Day. But he's always been very kind and supportive and caring, and we have sons and they are beautiful. And
Oh, wow.
you know, I was very sheltered by my entire life. My
Okay.
dad, my mom, my aunt,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
and then my husband did a very nice job making me a happy wife, you know, so I had a pretty decent life. And then when we had our home, I always had a garden.
Really? In New York?
In New York, yes, in my backyard.
Wow.
And every Mother's Day, he would till the soil for me and make it prepare it, and then I would start planting different things.
Oh, come on.
And I've always loved watching things grow.
why? I mean, I
It's just a satisfaction that you get from a seed turning into a tree which produce fruit that you can consume
Huh.
and you can share.
Wow.
So,
see, that's the spirit of farming. That's what the spirit is.
yeah,
Because the spirit thinks about others.
yeah,
And that's what you've done.
yes.
Wow.
So, then this came along. I started doing what was necessary
Yeah.
with a lot of financial assistance from my husband, and a lot of faith and a lot of enthusiasm about succeeding with it.
Yeah.
And it developed into something. I never thought that I was going to do this, to make it what it is.
That's where I want to just spend a little time right there. You never thought So if you've never thought it, why do it?
Because I love it.
Aye. So it was love, it was passion that
Yes.
fueled or that drove you.
Yes. I love being this place. It just feels almost like Eden to me.
Aye.
To me.
You know, you're heavy, man. I didn't have breakfast this morning. That's not fair because I'm getting full.
Yeah, I believe that this thing was always supposed to be.
It was always supposed to be.
It was always supposed to be.
Wow.
And when I come here, this is the happiest I am.
Really?
Yes, because here I feel like I listen to the birds.
Yeah.
I listen to the rustling of the bamboo.
Yeah.
I listen to the river running.
Yeah.
I watch the fruits. I eat the fruits. So I feel like almost like I'm Eve in the Garden of Eden.
Oh, dear honey, you should see these goosebumps all over me right now.
And even if it might not be what other people might think is
it doesn't matter.
That does not matter to me.
You're a king's
and with
kid.
And with all the trials that might come with it, the successes are so much more gratifying.
Now, that's where I want to ask this proverbial question. It's difficult.
Very difficult.
It's hard.
Very
borderline
hard.
insanity if you look at it, right?
It almost seems impossible.
But why? Why do it? It's
love
gotta
it.
be, yeah, love is good, but what else is there?
Quite honestly, I don't even know.
Ah,
I don't even know. I just know this thing is something that I want to do. I want to experience. I feel good when I'm doing it.
wow.
Yeah.
The name of your farm, you know, it's just, that's mind-blowing.
It speaks for itself.
In and of itself. What's the name of this amazing, blessed, hallowed place?
Epiphany Farms, because it was an idea I had. I had an epiphany, so I named the farm Epiphany Farms.
Oh my God. Oh, my friend. There are so many people that can give you a litany of excuses. I don't have anyone that I can model. I don't have the money. Yes, my husband supports me, but he wants me to go get a job so I can help ends meet and blah, blah, blah. You didn't choose him. He chose you.
That is correct.
So a man that findeth a wife, right? Findeth a good thing. You're his good thing.
And he tells me all the time.
And he tells you all the time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Dennis. What is it that binds your will to do exactly what you're doing, his will to say, honey, do what you're doing? What is that? What would you say that glue, that common glue that people sometimes are missing? It's a substrate for all the chemists out there and biologists, but what is it that keeps that solid?
I think he has as much faith in me as I have in him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because, you know, sometimes people have ideas and they try it and it doesn't succeed, but that doesn't mean they need to stop having ideas. So he's had his ideas and some of them he was successful, and I've had my ideas and he's always been supportive. So this was the biggest idea I ever had.
It's a big idea, lady. I can only imagine coming here, and this was not here.
Nothing was
This
here.
was not
Nothing
here.
was here. Nothing.
Wow.
Except for hard work. And he just stands behind me and is my support system.
Wow.
Yeah.
You talk so fondly of him.
I
right?
do.
We should have had, we'll get him on the
Okay.
second part of this show. Because he matters. It
Yeah.
matters, and people need to see that.
Yeah.
They do. We're missing that.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're, as women, we're supposed to be so strong, and
Yeah.
you know, and we just make it happen. And
Yeah.
sometimes we do it with such a nasty attitude
But
in making it happen.
you know what I've learned?
Yeah.
You always have to have a soft place to fall. and we are each other's soft place to fall.
That's trust.
Yes.
You know, that's
Yes.
major.
Yes.
Wow.
And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to God for my life. I'm grateful to God for all the gifts that He gives me.
Wow.
Every single thing in my life is a gift. My children are my gifts. This place is my gift. My dad left me this incredible gift that I'm still trying to come to terms with and still trying to learn how to keep it successful. It's baby steps, hard baby steps,
Yeah.
but it's coming along.
Wow.
Yes.
I'd say it came along. Prior to the show, we took an extended walk, 40 minutes, an hour. I don't even know what time it was. We just lost track of time. You've got your farm, and this is for those who are doing something and they're writing their strategy. There's a strategy to everything that you do. Again, we walked. You didn't tell me that the okra was just coming up or the potatoes just happened to come up. You were intentional. Would you speak on how intentional a person has to be, you've been and still are, to make things happen?
Okay, there has to be order. If you're not planning and putting things in place in some sort of order, you're winding up in a mess, because then everything is topsy-turvy and you can't follow through. With everything that I do on the farm, I record. I take notes of what works, what does not work.
Really?
Yes. I have to, in order to know what not to do.
Oh, come on, lady. Do you have a book I can buy? Please I've got a publishing company. Please let me publish your first book. Wow.
Yes.
Order.
There has to be order. If there is no order, there's chaos.
Huh.
So, I try to make sure I minimize the number of mistakes that I make.
Absolutely.
So that's the way it works.
You have, and this is a farm word here, a variety of everything here. Would you just hint on what it is that you grow here?
Well, my primary crop is sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes.
Primary crop.
Yeah.
That's what I started with.
Yeah.
And I continue with.
Yeah.
But over time, I expanded into, different crops. I love citrus, so I definitely wanted to make sure citrus was part of the farm.
Okay.
And I love food.
Yeah.
I love to eat.
Really? I think we all do, right?
So I try to find an area where I can plant the different things I enjoy.
Oh, come on.
So I made room for these things.
You made room.
Yes.
Oh, dear God. Hey, these principles, I study this book that have these principles in them. What would you say to someone who says, all right, my dad gave me 5 acres. I'm gonna leave the U.S. I'm coming to do this thing here, and I just believe it's gonna work. I don't really know how. What do you say? What's the first 5 steps? Yeah. Don't even think about it, because you do.
The first 5 steps is I trust in God.
Step number 1. Step number 2. Yep.
And even when things look like they're not going to be what I think they might be, it's for a reason. Because if you do really believe in God and trust in God, He will let you know when you're stepping off in the wrong direction and doing something that's not going to be to your benefit.
Wow.
So I take one step at a time, one day at a time, and I allow God to guide me. I pray. I wake up early every morning and make sure I talk with Him and ask Him for His guidance and to not let me make too many mistakes.
Wow. Now, you know that's four steps that you've already said.
Yes.
You trust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You pray.
Mm-hmm.
You ask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then you for guidance.
Yeah.
What's that fifth step?
The fifth step is I get up every morning.
Aye.
And I get out of bed and I move and I do what I'm supposed to do.
Oh, Miss Cecelia. Hi. Where are we going after this? You've got some horses.
Yeah,
Hence the dress.
Yeah. So, like I was saying about Daddy, Mr. Trim,
Yeah.
when he passed, he left the stables, for me to continue doing what he did. Now, like I said, this is a very difficult thing for me because I wasn't here
Okay.
to learn the way probably my brother did,
For sure.
you know,
Uh-huh.
or somebody, one of his workers did, or
Mhm.
somebody else did. And I'm learning, like I did here on
Yeah.
the job,
Yeah.
I'm learning on the job over there as well
I love it.
to try to know what to do and what
Yeah.
not to do.
Wow.
I'm still learning.
All right. You heard it. We're going to come back and I might get on my riding horse.
You're going to get on your riding horse named Rihanna.
This is the one that you could hear if you see any of our social media. She says, "Come on, canter." That's the little voice that you were hearing. Thank you, Miss Cecelia, for
You're
inviting
welcome.
us to your beautiful farm,
very welcome.
Tiffany. Thank you, Mr. Dennis, for encouraging her. Thank you, sons, for being such a great son, and daughter for being her amazing daughter-in-law. We don't say daughter-in-law. How about that?
Yeah.
That's your baby.
That's correct. Yes.
All right, stay tuned. We're going to come back and we're going to go look at some horses. Thank you so very much. Don't go away. I never leave home without my lip conditioner and lip scrub from T2T. It's perfect for this kind of weather and any activity. I'm Dr. Tongie from the Dr. Tongie Show and Dr. Tongie, and I endorse this product.
You want to avoid traffic? Avoid the stress of finding parking? The answer is the water taxi from Saluna Water Sports by Bay Gardens Beach Resorts to Pigeon Island Jazz Festival for only $50 EC or $20 round trip per person. Contact us at 721-5098 to book your tickets. Jazz Festival in style.
Dr. Tongie is on a mission to help you rediscover God's purpose for your life. And she does this by teaching you how to change your perspectives according to His original plan for you. If you are experiencing bouts of failure or an inability to do things right, she is here to assist you in ending those thoughts that can indeed lead to a depressing mindset. She calls you to emulate the processes a full-scale mind shift requires by replacing religious ideologies and traditions that oftentimes create a sense of struggle. Dr. Tongie provides you with much needed insight, encouragement, and motivation to not only assist you in rediscovering your dreams, but she systematically shows you how to no longer chase them, but how to manifest them. Dr. Tongie is the Caribbean's very own inspirational and motivational speaker, our life and spiritual coach, and someone who delivers hope, encourages our faith, and showcases that we must live a life that is.
This is Dr. Tongie. I'm from a little town called Columbus, Mississippi, and I've come all the way here to show you exactly how you can live abundantly. Fear is nothing. You hear me? You can do anything you put your mind to. I'm your girl, Talk to Tongie. We're going to do life together. Hey, and welcome back. Thank you so very, very much for hanging around with us for a while. We are now at this amazing piece of property. And we're going to get into this because when I first came here, it blew my mind. And I'm going to tell you why. Back in America, a little place where I'm from, I've never seen this before. And this place has a story like none other. Would you care to expound upon how you got here?
Okay, so I told you that my dad was Mr. Trim. I said that to you before.
Yes.
Okay, so Trim's Riding Stables. My dad started this love for horses from a young child. And then as he got older, he was able to acquire a horse or two.
Okay.
And then that was early in the 70s when tourism was just coming into blossoming.
Okay.
And he was able to realize an opportunity where he could probably be part of the whole tourist industry.
Now this is your father.
My father, Rennie Trim.
Starting with a love for horses.
Yes.
Didn't have this stable.
No, he had none of this. My dad was a very simple man. He was a watch repairer. He learned it from his uncle.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. And he worked with the bank, transporting monies back and forth.
Okay.
And then he met my mom and two young people. They had me.
Yeah.
But he always had a dream. He wasn't highly educated or anything.
Okay.
But sometimes, people like that, they tend to go on God's calling.
That's it.
And he had that idea that he could do horse riding.
Yeah.
He started at VG. That was when I was a little girl. He started the stables at VG right next to the college. And then he moved to Cap Estate.
Okay.
He had a stable there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Talk about the ingenuity, right?
I know. But then being up there, he decided he wanted to have his own stable. And then he bought this property and moved over there, built his house, started his family, growing into that horseback riding business. But I left before any of this started.
Now, when you say you left,
I moved. Well, my parents thought it would have been a good idea to have me go to the States.
Oh,
yeah,
I remember. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So that I could, get an opportunity for myself. So, yeah. I left,
that's a mouthful there,
yes,
right?
I left very young, so I wasn't really a part of building this up with my family, but I was always a part.
So you would hear some of the stories that your father was telling you.
Yes.
Was there any time, and I'm sure there were, but were there any times where he would say to you, I don't think we can do this? What have I gotten myself into?
Not my father. My father was headstrong, stubborn, and strong-willed.
I like him. R.I.P. to your daddy.
Yes,
wow.
That was my dad.
Wow.
You could never tell him he couldn't do something.
Really?
Yeah, he was going for it with everything he had.
But isn't that like you?
Just a little bit.
Aren't you
just
kind of
headstrong?
A little bit of stubbornness?
Just a little bit.
Am I talking too much?
Just, I don't like to give up on things. So when he got ill, I came down from time to time.
Okay.
I would visit the family, and when I got married, I brought my kids when they were little so they could interact with their cousins and my grandparents and such. And as my dad got a little older, I realized that, he needed more help than he would admit
Gotcha.
that he needed,
Okay.
because he was taken advantage of a lot.
Here in the
Yeah,
country.
just in the
Okay.
business
Okay.
and people
Okay.
doing shady things. And then when he got sick, he called me and he asked me if I wanted to be a part of this. So I came down for a little while, and then I tried to see what needed some sort of input,
Okay.
which I did as best I could.
Okay.
And then, but my life was still back there.
Wow.
My kids were still young. My husband himself had his business over there. So it was like I wasn't committed to this.
Now, question, because we have a lot of people that will say, I've got my own thing going. I'm building my family. I'm building my brand.
Yes.
Why should I stop now
Right.
and come over to help you? And it's not a selfish question, but it is a question.
Self-preservation question. Yes.
Speak on that, if you
Yeah.
will.
Well, I was not in the mindset of leaving my family.
Okay.
I had to fulfill my obligation to my children and my husband.
Okay.
So I did that until they were grown. And then when my sons went away to college, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Ouch. Now life begins.
Now I am left with no mothering to do because they're old enough.
Okay.
And do I sit home? No, I don't sit home. So I went to I had some in their school. I was always PTA president.
Look at you. I mean, come on.
So after they were not there, I was not PTA president anymore.
So
and
what do you
all
do?
of that. So one of the mothers in the PTA group introduced me to a job that she was doing with Skirmahorn School for the Blind. So I went in there. I went in there on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
I did an interview. I was hired on the Friday.
I love it. Now, all of this is going on.
Yes.
You're in
the States.
In the States.
Yeah.
Are you toying with?
No.
No way.
I did not have any. Like I said, my dad was very headstrong and self-determined and strong-willed, so he wouldn't hear anybody's advice. So that was not where I wanted to be.
Okay.
I thought.
Oh,
that was what I thought.
Don't you love it when God's plan trump yours?
Yes. And then he got ill, and he called me. And my dad called me around 7 or 8 o'clock at night. I was on an I bought a ticket at 4 something in the morning.
Okay.
JetBlue, and I was here to meet him to go to Trinidad to do tests.
Don't you dare make me cry. I do not want to cry today. I said sweating and crying is something I'm not doing on this show.
And then I'm telling you, that also was God working. And then we went to Trinidad. He went through the test. He did, and then he came back. I left, and then he asked me to please come and help him.
Wow.
So I came, and when I came, I found a whole lot of things that should not have been going on were going on, and I had to try to help make the path a little smoother.
Wow. Now, you, prior to coming back, were going to school. You went to college.
I went to college. I did biology was my major.
So, a biologist, okay. Now you're thrust into farm life.
Yeah, but the farm life was always a part of it because I was always in the dirt, like I told you before.
Gotcha.
But then I did not know as much as I should about horses. I tried to do learning on the job, which I'm still doing.
Okay.
So my dad got sick, and then he had to be treated. He came back home. He was treated for a while, and I was doing, making sure, doing the farm, checking on him, and making sure that, I'm there just for him to talk sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Because there are times when you couldn't say anything. It's just to listen, Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there, and I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he passed, and no matter how many times I told him, I do not want the responsibility of this. I know nothing about this.
You said this to
I
him?
said it to him more than once.
Wow.
And he still wound up leaving the responsibility to me.
So you're starting over?
My whole life. It's like I got a new life now.
Oh, come on.
Yes.
Were
Because
you ever afraid?
of
The
failure?
unknown.
Yes. Every time that I woke up, I was like, oh God, I don't know if I can do this. And then I would get up and do it.
Are you serious?
Yes. I'm nowhere near where I want to be, because
Now-
there's so much that needs to be done.
But you say that, and I'm looking at the tapestry here, the landscape. Are you going for like perfection here, or?
Well, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist,
think we
but
all are.
it'll never happen because I think life happens.
Life happens.
So perfectionism is not a
Yeah.
thing.
So you're here.
I'm here.
And what say your husband having to start over with you?
Well, actually, he was more for it than I was.
Really?
Because he's getting to the age where he's getting ready to retire, and since he's a St. Lucian just like I am, he was not resistant to retiring in St. Lucia. So he's up there still working until that day comes, and he's helping me the best he can, you know, to try to make this thing a thing.
Wow. I would dare say that this thing is already a thing.
Yes,
It already
because
is.
I was lucky that my dad left horses that I could use.
Yeah.
So if I do get a ride or two, I have horses that function, you know, and good horses to be able to do the rides.
I'm glad you said that, because I want to juxtapose into it's a business.
It
It's
is
not
a
just a
business.
love of horses, right?
No. And that's where the headache comes in, because it's a business.
It's a business. Now, what's a normal business day for you? Do you give out, you allow rides? Are you contracted with various entities?
No. Dad used to be contracted with the Sandals Group. Yeah, so the business was good for him for quite a while.
Okay.
But then, you know, things change. People undercut his prices and, you know, take over the lion's share.
Oh,
But
come on.
yeah, well, you know, that's business. But and it hasn't stopped us,
No.
because we have our own thing going on. We've set up revenues for us to be able to get income.
I'm doing the happy
So-
dance because I love business. I do.
Yeah,
Even the ones that make me say, "Oh dear God, what am I doing here?"
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, so I would not do this alone. I could not do this alone. I have help, which I am so grateful to God that they didn't cut and run like some people did when I came in. They stayed, and they help, and they try in every way to make this thing work.
You remind me so much of my daughter, and we're sisters. But she's taken my vision, and when she was moving into that place of leadership, I had her go through all of the channels of running our agency, my agency, but I didn't give it to her. She literally had to work her way for it. In the process, she developed what I like to call the spirit of leadership. It's not the leadership spirit. It's leadership spirit is good.
Different thing, yeah.
Yeah. But it's something about the spirit of leadership. And she had those who had their allegiance to me walk off and leave. And that was so hurtful. Would you speak on why at that moment in your life, why didn't you just say, "I'm so sorry, Dad, I can't do this"?
Because my dad has been a part of St. Lucian Tapestry for since the 70s, like I said. And I think the love of horses that exists in St. Lucia today is kind of due to his passion.
Wow.
And he never turned people away who wanted to learn, you know?
Wow.
So I think just for that,
Yeah.
I would love to
Yeah.
keep his name alive.
And that's where I want to go next. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about legacy because it's really, really important to establish a legacy while you're living and then one when you have finished your assignment on this side. Stay tuned, please. Hey, it's your girl, Dr. Tongie. And whenever I get ready for a show, I use a Toy Day food. A Toy Day food is a proud sponsor of the Dr. Tongie Show and Talk to Tongie. It's your girl, Dr. Tongie. You know, from the Talk to Tongie Show. Are you ready to maximize your business exposure? Of course you are. Why not consider placing an ad right here with me on the Talk to Tongie Show on DBS? This is Talk to Tongie. I'm from a little town called Columbus, Mississippi, and I've come all the way here to show you exactly how you can live abundantly. Fear is nothing. You hear me? You can do anything you put your mind to. I'm your girl, Talk to Tongie. We're going to do life together. Okay, we're back. I'm your friend, Tongie. Thank you for tuning in to Talk to Tongie, where we've got Ms.Cecelia, who literally has reinvented herself so many times. But this one strikes home because we're in the beautiful country of St. Lucia. Mm-hmm. And when I got here, I was just amazed with everything that you guys have. You have my dreams and my fantasies and my imagination. It's here. So I feel like this is my home too, my country too, yeah, right?
Just to St. Lucia.
You better believe it. So let's speak on. We talked about you're saying yes, even when it was uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You were saying yes to God. You were in agreement with your Father. So now you're here. And you are walking out his legacy while establishing your own. Would you speak on the difficulty of walking in your father's shoes?
I don't think anybody can walk in my father's shoes, but because he was a mover, a shaker, and just a rule breaker.
See, that's what I want my grandchildren to remember me.
Yeah.
I want my children to say that about me. And they do.
Yeah.
They do. They think I'm crazy. And you have to
Oh, my kids call me crazy all the time.
all the time. But I fit that persona,
Yeah.
right? So you're extending his legacy.
Trying to.
All right. She's not really giving herself credit for that, but I'm going to say it. She didn't have to. You are doing exactly what you were born to do. You are. Okay. And it's uncomfortable. Yeah. And you're growing. And you cry, but you don't quit.
No.
Yeah? So now a new king is here. We say that in the spiritual world. What are you offering now to people in not in opposed to what your dad did, in conjunction with?
Okay. So there was always a set number of tours that he did, which is the 1 hour, 2 hour, and the 4 hour tour.
Wow.
So that I continued.
Really?
Yes. We added a few things as well.
Okay.
We did. We also have a sweet carriage ride for people for example, people who have an anniversary,
Okay.
or we use a carriage as well for weddings.
You mean like a real carriage that
Yes,
I've
a real
ridden
carriage.
in New York City?
I'll
and-
show you later.
Do you hear this?
And we do also riding school, which you're a part of course.
I am. And I love it.
Yes. And I try to do different events during the year
Okay.
to include the neighborhood kids
Okay.
and whomever would like to be a part,
Gotcha.
or one's just curious about horses.
Wow.
I want them to come. Yeah.
Really?
Anybody who wants to volunteer, just come to look. Just.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Did you know that? You
Yes.
can literally volunteer here?
Yes. If you want to know about horses, and I'm sure
Aye.
the racket hair, you can hear it.
Yeah.
We've incorporated a few other animals, because I think riding is one thing, but
Yeah.
then children come sometimes, and then you want to have something to get them excited.
Oh my God.
So I've incorporated a few more animals here,
Yeah.
and
Who's talking with us right there?
those are the chickens. And I think one of them is getting ready to lay an egg.
Are you serious? What?
Yes. Yeah. So what we do here is try to give people a love for horses and an understanding of horses. I don't know
Wow.
if you've seen on our Instagram page, we do the Did You Knows?
Oh, I love the Did You Know.
Yes,
I do.
I do all these little facts
Yeah.
that people can learn even if they don't come.
So you're doing all of that yourself?
Well, please.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. I do some of it.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of good help.
That's where I want you as we're getting ready to close out this segment, and I don't want it to end. That gummit. Let's speak on, if you will, getting good help.
Okay. First of all, the people who you have around you have to want to meet your goal as much as you want to.
Wow.
Yeah. Because in the beginning, funding is not there.
Yeah.
And people have to sometimes be patient.
Absolutely.
And if the money is not coming in the way you'd like, a lot of things tend to,
Mhm. Been
not
there.
go the way you
Been there.
want it to go.
Uh-huh.
But with perseverance,
Yeah.
and those people keep encouraging you, well, because they do me,
Yeah.
letting me know it's gonna be okay.
Wow.
Don't worry, everything's gonna wind up being okay. Trust my word. I see it for you. And
Come on.
let me tell you, some days I really need to hear that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's what keeps me getting up every morning.
Wow.
And not getting on a plane and going back home. Well, not home, but home. You know
I
what
got
I mean?
you. Absolutely. That's what keeps you going,
Yes.
and not
Giving up.
giving up.
Yeah.
The encouragement.
The encouragement I get from the small group of people
Mm-hmm.
who see my vision
Wow.
and want me to achieve it.
Okay. I want you to achieve your vision. I want you to soar to heights that you hadn't even entered into your mind.
And I appreciate you for that.
You're so very welcome. How can the public, because I know I'm here, I'm doing it, can't you see? How can people come and be a part of this?
Well, like I said, we have riding school.
Okay.
You can introduce your children
All
to horseback riding
Okay.
here. We have families who have hardly anything to do family-wise. You can come and do a tour. I give the local prices for locals, so that way they can experience what it is to be on a horseback and go down to the beach. And, it's something to do.
It's something to do.
Yes.
So Instagram, Facebook.
Yes.
How can they stay in touch?
Okay, we have a Instagram page. You just type in trims.
Okay.
You type in trims, everything about trims pops up on
Is that
your,
right?
and all the information you can need is on our website, which is trimsnationalriding1
Okay.
at gmail.com.
Okay.
We have our Instagram page. We have, you call us.
Okay. What's your number?
Telephone number for the stable is 450-8273.
Okay.
And the cell phone number is 484-9799.
All right. Three
Okay.
things that you can guarantee when they call you when they go to your website to book an event,
Mhm.
3 things that you can guarantee
I
that they'll
can
leave.
guarantee
Yeah.
that you will speak to somebody if you need to.
All right.
I can guarantee that you will be able to accommodate you because we try to accommodate everyone.
All right.
And I can guarantee that I will try to let you understand that horses are not to be afraid of.
Yeah.
Because most of the guests who come,
Uh-huh.
they come petrified.
I still am. I still ride. Sometimes petrified.
Yeah, and then when they leave, everybody's smiling.
Yeah.
So that gives me gratification.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am so very, very proud of you. I am so grateful that you did not quit because you are truly an example that we can inspire to be like and be motivated to do. You are truly a blessing. You are. And I just love you. I do.
And I love you right back.
Thank you so very much for being a part of the Talk to Tongie show. Thank you for being a part of my life.
Thank you for allowing me to be.
Yeah, man. I don't take it lightly or for granted. You literally could have said, you know what? I am way too busy for that. Thank you so very much, but no thank you. But you opened up not only your stables, your farm, you opened up your heart. And I'm grateful. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nothing but good things for this woman and everything that she does. And I'll say this as my parting words. Whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing, get busy. Do not worry about the money. Do not worry about the support. Do not worry about how you're going to do it. Write it down. Lift it up. Allow him to break it and then give it back to you.
Sure.
All right? I love you, lady.
Love you too.
Trim's National Riding.
That's right.
Bye.
I remember your signs, you remember my eyes. We were known together, but we both knew better. I remember your
You're watching DBS,